Is it really that easy for someone that would like to commit suicide with the assistance of a doctor to actually go through with it, or is it rather a very complicated and even a costly process? Today, I'm going to convince you that assisted suicide is wrong, costly, and may not be the best choice after all. Assisted suicide is a process by which those suffering from an incurable disease get assistance into their own death from a doctor who administers the lethal drugs for this purpose. According to Procon.org's article about the historical timeline of human euthanasia, the right to die this way in the United States first came to widely be accepted in the 70s and 80s. A prominent doctor for euthanasia, Jack Kevorkian, or Dr. Death, assisted his first one of many assisted suicide patients to their death in 1990. Jack Kevorkian broadcast one of his assisted suicides on 60 Minutes in the 90s. It showed him administering the lethal drugs to the patient and eventually the patient dying. Because of this, Dr. Kevorkian was convicted of murdering the patient and sentenced to 10 to 25 years in prison. PBS.org. Assisted suicide is a very final choice, and most of the people that inquire about it or actually go through with it are desperate to escape what they feel to be a life that is not worth living. There are a lot of things to consider when one would like to end their life through assisted suicide, like the fact that the cost might be very high for the procedure, and the person may have to travel far away from their home to be able to get assisted suicide through an organization, and this will mean the cost of plane tickets. The cost can be well into the thousands, so the person that wants to go through with it may not even have the necessary funds to be able to, or it may take them years to get the money, and during this time they may pass naturally due to their incurable disease. The family members of the person that is considering this method have to be in total support of the person. I truly do believe this because it would be hard to go through this process by oneself. And as Waikiki Space's website on assisted suicide states, sometimes the person even may not have even wanted to go through with it. I think it is scary that on the internet they were being sold assisted suicide or exit bags to those who wish to die. This caused people that are not terminally ill, such as teenagers and generally depressed and suicidal people, to have easy access to this method. I think it is so unfortunate that these circumstances have arisen, when someone who is depressed and thinking of suicide should be able to receive whatever treatment they need through medical supervision in order to help them possibly get better, not to be able to easily access something that will help them kill themselves. Luckily, those that sold such tools for assisted suicide on the internet were pretty much stopped, and they faced charges of possibly being put in jail. I do not think that this is a very pleasant way to die, because it is so planned and almost seems kind of cold. Usually the process encompasses the person going to a designated house that is funded by an organization, and then they go into what looks like a bedroom or a living room, and they either lie on the bed or on the couch, where they are given the lethal drink which puts them into a coma first, and then their heart stops and they die. The process is supposed to be painless, but since we obviously cannot talk to those that have passed on, we do not know for sure. If the sedative they give to the patient were to fail in some sort of way, then the person faces the risk of experiencing tremendous pain, of which they obviously cannot express. In a way, assisted suicide devalues the true meaning of the beauty of life, which is listed as one of the cons of assisted suicide on balancepolitics.org and AnglicansForLife.org. Today, I persuaded you that assisted suicide is something that takes a lot of thought, and although I do have a lot of sympathy for those that suffer each and every day of their lives from an incurable disease, I feel that it should not be someone's choice when they die. Suicide is suicide, whether it is by someone who is perfectly well or someone who is terminally ill. I believe that instead of encouraging human euthanasia, we should be encouraging the treatment and long-term care of terminally ill people. Life is too beautiful to give up on it in any possible way.